I know we got a lot of speakers and we're on a tight time frame. So with that, I'm going to call the public hearing to order. Would everyone please stand for a moment of silence and a pledge to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
of America,
and to the republic
to the
republic for which it stands,
one nation,
nation, under
God,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty and justice
for all.
Okay, would the clerk please read the public hearing notice?
Notice of public hearing for the 8-year review and proposed modifications and consolidation of Orange County. Can you hear me? Notice of public hearing for the 8-year review and proposed modifications and consolidation of Orange County agricultural districts numbers 1 and 2 in accordance with New York State Agricultural Markets Law, Section 303A. Notice is hereby given that the Orange County Legislature and members of the Department of Planning will meet at the chambers of the Orange County Legislature in the Orange County Government Center, 255 Main Street, Goshen, New York, or due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the meeting will be held remotely via video conference at 3:15 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time on the 3rd day of September 2020 for the purpose of holding a public hearing and to solicit comments from the public with respect to the proposed modifications and consolidation of agricultural districts number 1 and 2. In 1972, Orange County created 2 agricultural districts. Orange County Agricultural District number 1 is located to the northeast of New York State Route 17, future Interstate 86, and encompasses all or parts of the towns of Blooming Grove, Chester, Cornwall, Crawford, Goshen, Hamptonburg, Monroe, Montgomery, Newburgh, New Windsor, Palm Tree, Walk Hill, and Woodbury, and all or parts of the villages of Chester, Curious Joel, Maybrook, Montgomery, South Blooming Grove, and Washingtonville. Agricultural District number 2 is located southwest of New York State Route 17 and encompasses all or parts of the towns of Blooming Grove, Chester, Deer Park, Greenville, Goshen, Minnesink, Monroe, Mount Hope, Walk Hill, Warwick, and Wawayanda, and all or parts of the villages of Chester, Florida, Goshen, and Warwick. The districts were last reviewed, renewed, and modified by the Orange County Legislature in 2012 and were certified by the New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets in 2013. The Orange County Planning Department prepared a draft report, description, and map of the proposed modifications and consolidation of the agricultural districts for review and approval by the Orange County Legislature. The proposed modifications and consolidation are based upon specific landowner requests, municipal comments, and review by the staff of the Orange County Planning Department, Office of Real Property Tax Services, Orange County Cornell Cooperative Extension, and the Orange County Soil and Water Conservation District. The draft report incorporates review and recommendations of the Orange County Agricultural and Farmland Protection Board. Notice is further given that all documents referenced in this notice and relating to modifications and consolidation of said agricultural districts are available on the Orange County Planning Department's and Legislature's website. The public may view public hearing via live streaming. Please go to Orange County website at www.orangecountygov.com/legislature/legislative calendar for the link. Notice is further given that in the event the legislature determines to conduct this public hearing remotely due to the COVID-19 pandemic, members of the public are invited to participate via teleconference by calling the telephone number and access code listed on the Orange County website under Important Links, Notice of Public Hearing. Please call in at 3:00 p.m. on the day of the public hearing to register to speak or send written comments to the clerk of the legislature at jrampen, that's JRAMPPEN, at orangecountygov.com. Further notice is given that said documents relating to the 2020 agricultural district review available at the office of the clerk of said legislature, 255 Main Street, second floor, in the Orange County Government Center, Goshen, New York, where they may be inspected or procured by any interested person person during usual business hours, and on the Orange County website, www.orangecountygov.com. This notice was published in the August 26th issue of the Hudson Valley Press, Times Community Newspapers, Walking Valley Hudson Times, Forward Valley Dispatch, and the August 28th issues of the Orange County Post, Strauss newspapers, Warwick Advertiser, Monroe Photo News, the Chronicle, and the News of the Highlands, Como Local, and the Gazette.
Okay, thank you, Gene. I would just like to remind everyone to mute your lines when you're not speaking. That way we can cut down on any background noise. At this time, I'd like to call on the Chairman of the Legislature, Steve Brusha, to say a few words. Steve?
Thank you, Chairman Riskevich. Cut down on any background noise. Okay. Thank you, Chairman Riskevich. There were about approximately 13,000 letters sent out with respect to the upgrade or the update of the agricultural districts number 1 and 2, and there seemed to have been a lot of confusion and misunderstanding, and many people that received the letter didn't call the 615 number, and there is going to be a follow-up letter sent out, which I hope adds clarity to this, but I'm also going to read a prepared statement, which I hope will clarify some of the issues that the speakers plan to speak about today. Good afternoon, all. This is an important community hearing, and thank you for joining us today. Our Planning Commissioner Alan Sorensen will give you an overview of the agricultural districts process after I say a few words. Farming and agriculture are an important part of our economy, but a lot has changed since the last time Orange County did a thorough evaluation of its farmland. New York State rules require the county to evaluate our agricultural districts every 8 years. This review provides guidance to the legislature in deciding whether or not the county wants to continue its agricultural districts, and if so, what land should be removed or added to the district. The review process, which started back in February 2020, is led by the County Planning Department with the help of the county's Real Property Tax Department. Over 16,000 parcels were reviewed. This 8-year evaluation, the first during my time as chairman, was comprehensively done by the Planning Department, probably more so than ever. There are over 12,500 parcels impacted by the changes. I am confident, and it is my expectation, that the Planning Department will add back in any landowner, I repeat, in any landowner who wants to remain in the district. If they don't, I don't see this passing the county legislature. While we are on the topic of farming, I want to stress one other thing. The Orange County Legislature asked our state senators and assembly members to introduce and pass legislation to create a community preservation fund. That fund could be used to preserve key farmland in Orange County. I want to thank Assemblywoman Gunther for introducing and securing the passage of Assembly Bill 7699B for that purpose. In the Senate, the legislation, Senate Bill 6224-B, was sponsored by Senator Jen Metzger, so thank you, Senator Metzger. Joining Senator Metzger in sponsoring that legislation was Senator Kruger out of Manhattan. So here you have someone in New York City who understands the importance of setting aside money to preserve our farms. You have Senator Metzger who understands the value of setting aside funds to preserve our farms. Yet somehow this important land preservation did not get through the Senate. This is very disappointing. The legislation we at the county are pushing for simply adds Orange County to other Hudson Valley counties, Putnam, Ulster, and Westchester. Preserving farmland is not a tough decision. It means standing up to some developers, I know, because I believe in preserving farmland. It's very important. We have to make tough decisions in county government. We can't bury our heads in the sand like ostriches supposedly do, or go hide in the bathroom like others do. We have to get things done. Making sure our farmland protection plan is done properly matters. And this is state law we're abiding by here, folks. Fighting to preserve our open space matters. I know the dozens of farmers I talk to care about these things. And I look forward to hearing the comments of our agricultural community, particularly those affected by this draft plan. Thank you, Chairman.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I'd like to call on Alan Sorensen, Commissioner of Planning, to summarize the agricultural district's annual inclusion of land and 8-year review. Mr. Sorensen?
Mr. Shkevitz, thank you. May I share the screen? I just wanted to share 2 maps. The first map that I'm pulling up, hopefully everyone can see that, is showing the proposed modifications to the district. So those areas shown in green are the areas to remain within the district, and those areas within yellow are the areas being recommended for removal. Okay, so I'm going to just want to go over the ag district process. There's often confusion as to what agricultural districts are. Agricultural districts are not zoning districts, and there is not a relationship to whether a property owner gets an agricultural tax exemption or not. Agricultural districts are a way of implementing the right to farm legislation in New York State. If people choose, they can conduct farm operations on these parcels as defined by New York State. They are protected in doing so as long as they follow sound agricultural practices. Orange County has always taken a liberal approach to allowing lands in the agricultural district. If someone wants in the agricultural district and it isn't controversial and didn't challenge sound agricultural practices and policies, then the parcels should be included in the districts. Orange County has a robust and large set of 2 districts compared to other counties. Orange County's Agricultural District 1 is located northeast of Route 17, and Agricultural District number 2 is located southeast of New York State Route 17. Collectively, these districts comprise approximately 27% of Orange County's land area. The proposal that is presented in the draft report involves 3 parts. The continuation and consolidation of agricultural districts number 1 and 2, the addition of parcels into the agricultural districts, and removal of parcels, and 3, removal of parcels from the agricultural districts. During the 8-year review, the county proposes to continue its agricultural districts by combining districts number 2 into agricultural district number 1. And so there'll be 1 district referred to as agricultural district number 1. This consolidation will simplify administrative procedures on both the local and state level. The modifications are based on specific landowner requests received, municipal comments, reviews by county staff, county planning board, and the county agricultural and farmland protection board. Draft maps showing the recommendations for parcels to be added or removed from the agricultural district were prepared by the planning department and shared with the Agricultural and Farmland Protection Board, municipalities, legislators for review, and based on comments received, were revised to form the basis of the draft 2020 report of the Orange County Agricultural and Farmland Protection Board. The draft report was then presented to the county legislature so that it could schedule and hold its public hearing. If I may share my screen just one quick moment, I can show you an example of the of a municipal level map, and that would be the Town of Warwick map, which hopefully you see on your screen. So we provided recommendations that were then reviewed by the towns, and then following comments from there, we prepared the maps for the draft report. So I'm going to stop sharing and get back and wrap up the narrative. So each property owner was sent a letter notifying them of the public hearing and some additional background on what agricultural districts were, as well as specific recommendation for their property. The list of the modifications were presented in the draft report, along with the map showing the changes. The list of parcels so modified are located on the Orange County website. Since the public hearing was scheduled, our office has fielded phone calls and email inquiries from landowners and accepted requests by landowners to remain in the agricultural district. We then followed up with a written confirmation to each landowner to reassure them that their property will remain in the ag district if requested. As directed by the legislature, our office will continue to honor requests from landowners to remain in the agricultural district until November 4th, 2020. No action will be taken at the close of this September 3rd, 2020 public hearing because we'll be continuing to receive comments. The draft report will be revised based on landowner request before the legislature is asked to take final action on the report. The draft report recommends adding 106 parcels comprising 4,300 acres into the agricultural district. Many of these parcels are situated outside of the agricultural district and are being used for farming, and some are even receiving an agricultural assessment. It's important to note there are actually properties within the agricultural district which are not receiving an agricultural assessment. Removal of the parcels from the ag district in order to ensure that the districts are comprised of predominantly agriculturally viable land and are in compliance with New York State Ag and Markets law. The county conducts a thorough review of the districts every 8 years to determine changes are warranted. While parcels can be added to each district each year in the month of March, it is only during the 8-year review that parcels can be both removed and added. Such actions are referred to as district modifications. The recommended removals are mainly due to specific requests from municipalities and because it is known that the properties are further developed and therefore are not viable or suitable for agriculture. And the vast majority of those properties recommended for removal are single-family homes and small lots. There was a total of 7,981 parcels, predominantly comprised of single-family homes with an average very small lot size that were deemed not viable or suitable for agriculture. Based upon property owner request, some properties recommended from removal from the district will now be recommended to remain in the agricultural district. If anyone is not able to speak today, please call our office at 615-3840. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sorensen. Members of the public who wish to speak were notified of the telephone number to call in to comment. They have called in and the deputy clerk has informed them of the 3-minute limit to speak. She has taken their name and assigned them a number which is the order they will be called in. Kelly, how many speakers do we have?
We have a total of 17. There's a few more callers that have called in. Paul, did you want me to take down their information?
You can if we can get to them, but after, I know we're short on time, so
Yes.
we'll get through to 17 and we may have to cut it off. But we are, like I said, there's a 3-minute time limit, which will be strictly adhered to. Kelly, you will inform the speakers when their 3 minutes are up and we'll move on to the next speaker.
Okay, so for the members of the public that have called in, is anybody interested in speaking?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and your name, ma'am?
Susan Tito, Goshen Green Farm.
Okay, and you're going to be speaker number 18, okay? There's a 3-minute time limit. This is being live streamed.
Thank you.
Okay, if you wouldn't mind muting your phone. Was there anybody else?
I'd like to.
Okay, sir, and your name?
My name is Stephen Spiegel.
Spiegel was the last name. What was your first name? I'm sorry.
Stephen Spiegel, S-P-I-E-G-E-L.
Okay, and where are you from, sir?
I'm from the town of Warwick, and I'm actually an attorney in Florida, New York, but I'm one of the owners of a parcel in the town of Warwick,
Okay.
section block 7251.1, which is it's a approximately 100-acre farm in the town of Warwick.
Okay, there's a 3-minute time limit to speak, just so you're aware this is being live streamed. And if you wouldn't mind muting your phone. Paul, the first speaker is Dorianne from Slade Hill.
Okay, go ahead, Dorianne.
Good afternoon, everyone. We received a letter that our property had been recommended to be removed from the agricultural district, and we want to remain in the agricultural district. We are a small parcel, but we are glad to be here counteracting large-scale development, which we believe is harmful to all. And in the letter that was sent out to us, it says, forming agricultural district is intended to counteract the that non-farm development can have upon the continuation of farm business. We're glad that if we're not further developed, that we may continue to have water in our wells, which are already stressed in this community. And many people have wells that are 300 feet deep, 600 feet deep, and larger scale development is going to further exacerbate that problem. Our open land around us, which is some of it is farmland, is habitat to animals. Less habitat will bring more zoonotic diseases such as the pandemic virus. We don't want to lose our habitat. We have lived here for 44 years at this property. We're neighbors of horse farms, apple orchards, dairy farms, people who have organic gardens, chicken farmers, children who do 4-H projects. We enjoy gardening on our property. We believe in being good neighbors, and we do not complain about living near area farms which have been here much longer than we have. We believe farms are an invaluable resource for Orange County and contribute to the quality of life. During a pandemic, when the community is having a very difficult time, is not the time to ram changes down the throats of citizens. The notification letter was very confusing and misleading. I am grateful for the newspaper article, and I asked the legislature to halt the process, the proposed changes, and to provide a different public hearing that more people will have access to. And in order to be able to breathe clean air, we need our rural lands and our trees. We do not need more power plants, warehouses, and large-scale developments. And I believe that this change that you're going for is going to bring that. So that's basically all that I have to say. I want to remain in the district, and I will be trying to contact Mr. Sorensen to tell him so. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Kelly, who's our next speaker?
Okay, our next speaker is Anita Joseph of Salisbury Mills. And if I could just remind everybody to please mute your phones.
Okay, Ms. Joseph, go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to be able to speak. My name is Anita Joseph, and I'm a resident of Salisbury Mills. My concerns are obviously regarding the notification that was mailed dated August the 6th, 2020. Some of the concerns that I particularly have as it relates to, one, the actual language that was in the letter about the actual removal recommendation for it to be removed. Another concern that I have is about if there will be any new tax implications with the proposed changes if a homeowner decides to remain in the agricultural district, or if they opt to be removed. So that needs to be clear. And also another couple of questions or statements is, voting within the next 8 years, will that completely remove the property from the agricultural district should the homeowner decide to not be a part of the agricultural district anymore? And also really concerning about the changes in the tax assessment. So those are my comments and also questions and concerns as a representative of Salisbury Mills. And thank you for the opportunity to be able to pose my concerns.
Okay, the next speaker is Marlene Grasso of Campbell Hall.
Okay, Ms. Grasso, go ahead. Ms. Grasso, you can go ahead and speak.
Maybe your phone is on mute, Ms. Grasso?
Hello, I'm sorry. This is Marlene Grasso.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Grasso.
Hi, and thank you for letting me speak this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm calling regarding the notice that we had received.
Okay, because I gotta pick up the blue car to take it to the lift.
I'm sorry, I can't hear who that is in the background.
The Dakota.
Excuse me.
What's that?
Everyone, please mute your lines while others are speaking, please. Thank you. I'm sorry, Ms. Grasso, go ahead.
Hi, thank you again. Just some of my concerns are one that have to do with the notice that we had received in the mail that was mailed out on August 6th. I received it on August 20th or 21st. It was addressed to only one homeowner. And some of my concerns are, what are some of the intentions here of this random, just of removal of all these parcels? Is there any intentions of developers coming in? I want to keep this area as agricultural and rural as possible. We moved from an area to this area because of the beautiful farmlands. I do have some concerns for the habitat. I am surrounded by wetlands, and I'm also concerned, as the previous woman, about our well water. I don't want any more stress on that. I was actually lucky enough to be able to call around and reach out to multiple people to actually explain to me what this was. I don't think that a lot of the citizens of Orange County understood what they even got. Not even sure if they read the letters or if they were just thrown out. I think it has to give us a little bit more information. I would like to know if staying in or staying out have any, in the long run, anything to do with the tax assessment on the properties. I just think it has to be explained better. I was able to get my property to stay in the agricultural district, and it was just a very simple phone call, but that was not said to anyone in the letter. It was just me fishing around and trying to find information that people were able to do that. So I think this was ill-timed. I don't think it was prepared for the people very well to understand. And I do request that the legislator to halt the proposal of the change until this is explained and the citizens of Orange County get a little bit more time to decide what they need to do. Thank you, guys, and have a great afternoon. That's all I have to say.
Okay, the next speaker is Deborah Core of Goshen.
Hi, thank you for allowing me to speak. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Hi,
we can.
my name
Go
is
ahead.
Deborah Core. I'm the owner of 104-acre horse farm on Sarah Wells Trail. I lease 4 other parcels that are very important for me to be able to continue to run my farm. I'd like to express the need for the agricultural districts to remain in place in order to protect current farms and encourage farms in Orange County. We are losing farms at an alarming rate, and we are asking that going forward, your actions help to protect us, the farms in Orange County, and thereby preserve open space and the beauty of the area that makes the Hudson Valley so valuable. Yes, some of the farms have been turned into amusement parks, mega warehouses, and residential communities. For this reason, we need to include all of the above to protect the farms, to be able to notify the neighbors that they have purchased a property in an agricultural district and will be subject to the sights, the sounds, the smell, and the noises of the nearby farms, thereby protecting them. We want to protect the farms from the non-agricultural new residents that move to the two places where they have not had farms and then complain about the farms. Our agricultural designations in the agricultural district protect us from unfriendly farm zoning imposed by ignorant planning boards of towns and counties, nuisance complaints, and neighbors building nearby that will negatively affect our agricultural uses. As a farm owner, I am requesting that in addition to this, that the county look into creating a buffer zone that will protect the farmers, giving us 1,000 feet area that will remain natural from quads, swing sets, lawns being cut. This way, protecting our farming. We need to stop the disturbance of fireworks and trespassing. We also ask that the town assessors understand and be educated more to understand the financial challenges and also understand the process. Every year I go to the town of Crawford where I lease a property, and I have to fill out a 5-year lease every annual year. Obviously, they don't understand the process. And then I would also like to discuss and ask you to not forget that the farms maintain open space. We increase the value of nearby properties, making it a desirable area to live near. I would rather live next to a 104-acre farm than live next to a Medline plant. And the value of my home next to a 104-acre beautiful horse farm is definitely more valuable than living next to these mega warehouses. Environmentally, we also allow water recharge, and we also protect our wetlands. We will be running out. Orange County is growing out of control, and we need to maintain a balance that will give us clean air, water for the future. Soon, Orange County will go from being a desirable place to live to being as congested as Queens and Rockland County, unless we preserve the balance. And the balance is truly the answer. And the preservation of open space. Yes.
Your 3 minutes is up, ma'am.
Okay, well, thank you very much for listening. I would like you to, I would ask again, and included with the other people, that you postpone this process through this pandemic. You
Okay,
cannot
thank you,
even
Ms. Core.
renew.
Yes, thank you. We need to go on to
process. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
we need
you.
to go on to the next speaker. Kelly, who's our next speaker?
Our next speaker is Ed Fioti from Fort Von Trapp.
Yeah, that's Blooming Grove.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Okay, let me make sure I'm on speaker.
Your phone?
Okay, you there?
Yep, go ahead.
All right, I'm a resident here. I have about 3 acres of land. I think you guys really need to consider the tiny farmer. I do a lot of hydroponics here. I've been experimenting for about 7 years. And I'd like to retain my rights, whatever they are, in this particular situation. Have you guys ever considered the smaller ones? Hello?
Hello?
Did I get cut off?
No, go ahead,
Okay,
sir.
That's all I have to say. I'd like to retain my rights. I'm a very small farmer, and I live on a residence inside this agricultural zone. I do not want to lose my rights.
Okay,
And that's
thank
about
you.
all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Kelly, next speaker?
Next speaker is Mike Marmels of Warwick. Sorry if I said your name wrong.
Hello, can you hear
Okay,
me?
go ahead, sir. Yes, we can. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, well, we have a large farm, 120 acres, and we did the PDR, and we had a little problem with the assessor because we were cleaning up fence lines and cutting a field that grew up in scrub brush, and then they wanted to change the tax code. You know, it's not wooded land. Now you're going to get taxed differently, and we would just like a little more clarification. You know, we stay under we do hay-in for the horse farm, and we more than the 10,000 that's required. And I just hope that nothing changes with, you know, we gave up a lot of all these people now coming out of the city. I mean, we gave up with the PDR for what they paid us per acre. We practically gave the land to the county. So I just hope it stays the same. Thank you.
Are you still on?
Okay, next speaker is Peter
Thank you,
Parrish.
sir.
Peter Parrish of Warwick.
Hi, can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. You can go ahead and speak, sir.
All right, great. Okay, thank you.
Oh, okay.
I've been a resident of Warwick for over 40 years. My parcel of land was developed as it was a corner of an apple orchard. That apple orchard has since been developed.
My concern, similar to the concern of the other callers, is the potential for overdevelopment here. I applaud the intent of the districting. It's kept the rural nature of this county pretty much intact. I don't know how much of an imposition that is to farm owners who are interested in developing part of their farm. But hello. What's going on? All right, can you still hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right, so I'm concerned about the overdevelopment, but given where my parcel of land is, it's on the corner of Bloom's Corners and Onderdonk Road. We have an incredibly valuable wetlands, down the hill from me. And my concern is that it shows on your maps as an agricultural district, and I'm hoping to get assurances that there are no plans from the county to interrupt that wetlands, the wildlife, the vegetation and water that it provides, and what it provides as far as the aquifer for homeowners. Everything I read in your notice, aside from wanting further confirmation that there is no impact to my tax, to my taxes if my property is taken off the agricultural district. This house was here before you get set up the districts, so it was set up. I don't know that it's necessary to keep it agricultural as long as it does not impact my tax rate. So that's my personal concern. Broader concern is overdevelopment. Are we looking at major developers that are interested, and is that the motivation for making these changes? And are we looking to take major efforts to preserve the rural nature of this county, which is it's its charm? I mean, I want to live here, and this is why I moved to this county. So, any input on that would be appreciated.
Okay, thank you, sir. Kelly,
Thank
next
you.
speaker. Yep.
Next speaker is Dennis McCormick from Campbell Hall.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. McCormick. Mr. McCormick, are you with us? You may have your line on mute, sir. Mr. McCormick?
Anything in that?
Kelly, do we know if he's still on the line?
We had a couple calls drop off. Mr.
Okay.
McCormick, are you there? Doesn't look like it.
All right, well, it's the last call for Mr. McCormick. If not, we'll go on to the next speaker.
Okay, the next speaker is Zolt Voss from Goshen.
Okay, Mr. Zoss, you with us?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Thank you for having me speak. I'm just actually a small time farm here. I'm not registered. But I did buy my house in the ag district for that reason, to be able to either expand or have a farm. One, especially down the road when I get some time, because right now I do have kids and I am busy. I'm always on the run. But my main reason for buying my house was that it was in the ag district and being able to have animals, which I do. I have goats, I have chickens, I have guinea hens, I have rabbits. I have a lot of different animals, and just the fact that I'm not registered, I don't think I should be taken off the ag district. I don't see positives in staying on there, and being in the ag district. It only helps the value of a property and keeping the way things are. I've been a resident all my life of this area of Orange County. I've grown up and seen the development. I remember coming back from college in the early 2000s and just seeing all the houses go up. So I think, keeping more parcels, even though they're small parcels and there are single family houses on there, in the ag district, is only a positive thing. I would like to retain my rights, especially down the road, to be able to incorporate a farm and not have to worry about all the, all the complaints or whatever things that may affect my farm, me being able to have a farm in this area. Right now, I have hay fields on two sides of my property. I have some single-family houses on the other two sides. Across the street, I have farmland and single-family houses. So it's a nice mixture. And I don't really see taking any of these parcels out of the ag district will help anything or basically be a beneficial, positive, something that would basically be positive to this whole county. So I appreciate the time and listening to me. And is there any way to be able to ask a quick question, or are you guys just listening to people? Would I be able to ask a quick question, get a quick response?
They have been submitted. No, I'm sorry. We can't answer questions at this time. It's a public hearing. So.
Okay, great. All right. Well, thank you.
Okay. If you do have questions, I encourage you to call the planning department. Okay.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Yep. Kelly, next speaker. Thank you.
Next speaker is Diana Kelly from New Hampton.
Okay, Ms. Kelly, go ahead. Diana Kelly, you're the next speaker. You can go ahead.
Paul, she may have dropped off. She was hesitant on speaking.
Okay. Well, last call for Ms. Kelly. If you're not there, we'll go on to the next speaker.
Okay, next speaker is Chris Mealy of Campbell Hall.
Okay.
Hi,
Chris Mealy, go ahead.
Hi, this is Chris Mealy. Thank you for letting me speak. This is a request to the legislature to void that letter that went out to the owners of the 7,981 parcels. That represents 40 square miles of land. It's pretty scary. There are some parcels that can certainly be removed from the Farmland Protection Act agricultural district, only keeping in mind the original purpose of the legislation. The entire effort was ill-advised and ill-timed and should be thrown out for the following reasons. Number one, the envelope looked like junk mail. Many people just threw it out. Only one owner on the property received notification. Many parcels have more than one owner. Many couples have different names. Lot and block numbers were not included with the notice. The letter made no reference to Orange County planning other than the envelope, but rather defines it as an act of the county legislature. The letter begins, as you may know, Orange County has 2 ag districts. You seriously think people outside of the developers, realtors, and appraisers have any clue what this means? Do you think the average homeowner knows this? And I think the speakers indicate that. Item 1 states removal of parcels no longer in ag district and or. Which is it? Is it and or is it or? If it's meant to be or, the intention of the Farmland Protection Act is being violated. And then it ends that someone has recommended my property has been removed. The letter minimized the impact of this action to the property owner rather than provide a firm link to the Farmland Protection Act. Many working farms were slated to be removed from the ag district. There were 6 working farms on Angola Road alone, along with working farms adjacent to Legoland that are being removed. The letter is dated August 6th. It hit the citizens' mailboxes August 21st. It deserves noting that the biggest bombshells in this county happened in August, which is during the most popular family vacation time period, and more importantly, it is during prime growing season and harvest season for our farmers. The planning department stated the notices to the towns went out in April and that many did not reply. As of March 13, the entire county was under a national state of emergency. For these reasons, this entire process is unfair to all who live in Orange County, and the entire exercise must be repeated with full transparency, and the citizens should receive a ballot asking them if they wish to remain in the ag district and not tell them they will be removed. Thank you very much.
Okay, the next speaker we have is Deanna and Joseph Anderson of Goshen.
Thank you very much. Upon reading this proposal, it is a very terrifying piece of legislation. The fact that certain portions and parcels of the property are going to be removed from agricultural use. My property is particularly surrounded by a sod farm, big green sod, and organic recycling is also nearby, and several other farms. In the middle of a vast quantity of farmland, I moved to this area because I am originally from West Virginia, which more closely resembles the place in which I grew up. I lived in Brooklyn for a while, which is a seething cauldron of barely organized chaos, and I've come to the place in which I can find peace and tranquility. Now I find the politicians want to remove various parcels in the area, and removing the protection that particular thing provides. Having it being developed in the surrounding area is being developed as well. I do not believe that this is in the best interest of the citizens of Orange County. It is not reflective of the wishes of the constituency that they represent. I read the proposal, and although it is stating that the certain zoning laws will not change the taxes, if you read the proposal in its entirety, it is clear that it will eventually increase the taxes exponentially as the area is developed. I do not want to see the farmland obliterated only to be replaced with warehouses and multifamily storage units. I believe that the proposal is one of the first steps in changing the area from what we now see and beautiful farmland into a metropolitan nightmare. If I wanted that, we would have stayed in Brooklyn. It seems to me that it is only in the interest of the politicians who have a vested interest in developing the land of Orange County and to fill their own coffers at the sacrifice of the citizens in the area. I find it interesting that this proposal is being considered amongst the pandemic where individuals are unable to voice their concerns freely. They need to take off work even to participate in this public hearing and using technology that may be foreign to some. It is as if the elected officials are taking advantage of the pandemic to push their own agenda. If this is the way things are ran, it seems that it is very underhanded if that is the case. I will make it my priority to ensure that the parties who do not receive my vote during the next election, as well as speaking to my neighbors about this particular proposal. This particular proposal should have been benched until the COVID-19 has subsided and normal operations such as town hall meetings could resume in person and true discussion regarding the proposal could have moved forward. I implore you that the adding of parcels is a very valid concern about adding to the farmland, but the removal of particular parcels is just going to lead way for the area being developed. And I want to check and see if my wife has anything else to say to add to that. And my wife concurs as well. We yield the rest of our time. And my wife also said that she is concerned about eminent domain taking hold if this particular piece of legislation goes through.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Kelly, next speaker.
Next speaker is Mary Ellen Mann of Town of Crawford.
Okay, Ms. Mann, go ahead.
Hi. My husband and I run Deer Run Farm, which went on the tax record in 1812. It has been a working farm for over 200 years. The property is now down to 12 acres, which we own. We took a second mortgage to buy enough property to become a farm. We do over 2,000 bales of hay a year. We have 100 chickens, and we have a lot of egg customers. We've raised horses, and we want to keep farming. We were told if we were taken out of the ag district, we could reapply. Why would you reapply if you're already in there? Why go through that? And by the way, this was done to us 8 years ago. Yeah, it's a terrible feeling to work on a farm and run it, and you feel like no one appreciates what you're doing. Both of us are senior citizens, and we rely on the small amount of money that we make off our farm. We like what we're doing, and we think we're doing a pretty good job. We run a fall pumpkin stand. All of our neighbors come. We do a free Halloween thing. Our neighbors all come to that. I know the people in the town of Crawford have not complained about us because The supervisor lives on our road, and we do the hay on his property. So I really agree with everyone else that has spoken. This was inappropriate. The letter was terribly confusing, and it's really insulting to be treated this way as a farmer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Kelly, next speaker.
Next speaker is Matt Decker, Orange County Land Trust.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Decker.
Hi, everybody. This is Matt Decker. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Thanks. My name is Matt Decker. I'm the Director of Conservation and Stewardship with the Orange County Land Trust. We're a nonprofit. Our offices are in Cornwall, but we work across the entire county. A big part of our mission at the Land Trust is to protect a critical mass of farmland, to make sure that agriculture remains part of the character and the economy of our communities into the future. We are available to any farmer that wants to know about their options for preserving land. And we can use all of the tools that we can get in this county and for the protection of farms. And that includes the protection of the right to farm laws afforded to farmers through their inclusion in the ag districts. Ag exemptions are another one of those tools, but they are not related to the inclusion of parcels in the ag districts. And we're glad for the ag exemption tool as well. But, as was stated earlier, the inclusion in the ag districts does not affect the ag exemptions. I reviewed the changes to the ag districts that are in the report. I couldn't look at every single parcel, but I found that for the most part, the parcels to be removed have been developed in the recent past. Some of these parcels were developed in the last 8 years. Others were developed in the previous 8 years. And these changes to the ag district are really a lagging indicator of development in the county, not a leading indicator. The parcels, for the most part, with some exceptions, and it sounds like some of those exceptions are landowners on the phone here, are recently developed single-family residential or warehouses or other developments that no longer meet the definition of viable ag land as defined by Ag and Markets. And I'm very glad to hear so many folks on this phone on this call concerned about the protection of farmland. I'm also glad to hear that the legislature is willing to have any landowner that wants to remain, even those small farmers that are on a couple acres that want to have the protection of the right to farm laws that are afforded to them by their inclusion in the ag district. And I hope that everyone who wants to stay takes them up on that. Again, what this report says to me is that we are indeed losing farmland, that we've lost, sounds like more than 7,000 acres in the last 8 to 16 years. I thought that this was a thorough job, a thorough review of every single parcel in the county that I'm sure took a long time and a lot of attention to detail on the part of the planning department that did that work. And again, I hope that any farmer that wants to remain in takes them up on the option to remain in the ag district. Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you. Kelly, next speaker.
Next speaker is Luis Garcia of Warwick.
Okay, Ms. Garcia, go ahead. Luis Garcia, it's your turn to speak. Are you on with us? Okay, sounds like their line may be muted, or they may have dropped off, Kelly.
Okay, next speaker is Donato Saki of Chester.
Okay, Donato Saki, go ahead, you're up to speak. Mr. Saki, are you with us? Your line may be muted. Nope, okay. Kelly, next speaker.
Sure, our next speaker is Lucy Joyce, Executive Director, Cornell Cooperative Extension.
Okay, Ms. Joyce, you with us?
Yeah,
Yep,
thank
go
you.
ahead.
Thank you, Committee Chairman Riskevich, the honorable members of the E&E Committee and other legislators, Chairman Brusha, and all the members of the County Ag and Farmer Protection Board for the opportunity to comment on the 8-year review of Orange County's 2 ag districts. I am a farmland owner in the town of Wawayanda, currently in Agriculture District 2. I'm also the Executive Director of Cornell Cooperative Extension Orange County, where I've been actively involved with the ag district law and district reviews from 1988 through 2012. I support the consolidation of the two districts into one countywide district. Each district is justified by sending the Department of Agriculture Markets a description of the agricultural lands within each district. And we've maintained the two districts since consolidation was approved in 1980. But no one keeps statistics on farms and farmland by district. Both the New York State Agricultural Statistics Service and the USDA 5-year Census of Agriculture collect and report their data by county. As CCE professionals who help provide current and local agricultural information and trends, the current ag districts make that difficult. By including all of Orange County's farmland captured in one ag district, we will all benefit from more consistent reports. The 8-year review allows for property to be taken out of the ag district, hence our discussion today. That's quite strong. While the annual reviews only allow for property to be added in the district. Since this is our 8-year review, I strongly support the inclusion of all property which still has the potential to be farmed. And a number of speakers have talked about their very small parcels. Farmers depend on leased land, which makes up a significant portion of open space that may be in more suburban areas, yet vital for agriculture, especially when land prices are cost prohibitive for Orange County farmers. Smaller parcels of 5 to 10 acres are often used and rented by neighboring farmers. Another reason for encouraging the inclusion of very small parcels, which might be better characterized as like backyard or non-commercial operations, is because they support the commercial agriculture industry in a variety of ways. Small operations help to diminish ag conflicts with neighbors as they tend to provide a buffer between the larger operations and residences. Backyard livestock, horse, and poultry owners support large animal veterinarians, a necessary service for commercial livestock producers and equine operators. Backyard operations purchase equipment, supplies, and services such as tractors, feed, etc., which keep the services local for commercial producers. And they allow for youth to raise animals in 4-H and FFA programs. And some backyard producers grow from a hobby to a commercial operation and thus become a significant part of our agricultural industry. And small operations help maintain that rural working landscape, which we all like. So while the owners of the small non-commercial parcels are unlikely to benefit with their inclusion, since the Ag District Law is really designed to protect commercial operations, their inclusion does benefit and strengthens the agricultural district. So thanks for the opportunity for me to share my comments today. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Kelly, next speaker.
Next speaker is Susan Tito of Goshen.
Okay, Mr. Tito, go ahead.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I'm a farmer in Goshen. I have a 130-acre farm. We've been farming for the past 10 years. I'm a new farmer, and I believe there are more people that are interested in becoming farmers these days than in the past. And I'm also an attorney, and I have to tell you, this notice is absolutely unclear. I couldn't understand it myself. And I don't quite understand what the benefit is, except for what this last speaker said, that it's better to have one district. That may be true, but it's totally unclear to me what this notice is about or what the purpose is for, or the benefit that you're asking here and why you're doing this. And I do not understand why we farmers or people in the ag district have to be affirmative and opt in rather than let people opt out. This is a burden to everyone in the ag district. I'm concerned that for some reason you're going to take my farm out of the ag district and the land surrounding me out of the ag district when it's been in the ag district for over, it's agricultural land. I don't know for how many years, but I'm sure over 100 years. So I'm not quite sure why this is happening, especially during this pandemic, when farms are essential businesses. And they were considered from the very beginning essential businesses. So at this time, reducing farmland instead of encouraging people to use their land as farmland seems to be the opposite of what we need. I've grown up in Rockland County, and I remember it when it was all farmland, and Rockland County did something similar. They took most of the land out of the ag district, and now they're trying to restore the parts of the ag district so people can farm. I think it would be a grave mistake for Orange County to remove its agricultural lands. It's one of the best benefits of Orange County. It's the reason people want to be in Orange County, as many speakers have said. And I really would encourage you to reconsider how this entire process is happening and make it a opt out rather than an opt in. I can't even tell from this document how I'm supposed to opt in. where I'm supposed to send a letter. It's very unclear. And if I'm somebody who deals with documentation all day long, and if I can't figure it out, I'm sure many people who don't will not know how to opt in. So I ask you to change the way this is happening and make it an opt-out rather than opt-in. Let everyone who's in the ag district stay in unless they want to be taken out. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Kelly, next speaker.
Okay, the last speaker we have signed up, I have a Mr. Spiegel. I'm sorry, I didn't get the first name, and he is from Warwick.
Okay, Mr. Spiegel, go ahead.
Yes, hi. My first name is Steve or Steven. And I'm calling up about a farm in the town of Warwick, section block and lot number 7-2-51.1. I'm submitting my comments as the managing member of the limited liability company that owns the farm. On behalf of the owner, we object to the removal of our agricultural parcel from the agricultural district. I'm also a resident of the town of Warwick for approximately 35 years, as well as a practicing attorney in the village of Florida. And I'm dedicated to preserving the beauty and rural character of this county, as well as its economic viability. The parcel known as Wheeler Farm, located on Wheeler Road, has a long history as a working farm of approximately 95 acres. The farm is presently used for agricultural purposes with varied agricultural acreage, including black dirt lands, meadows, and uplands, and has an agricultural exemption presently. The issue of this parcel remaining in the agricultural district is also very important to us because we are planning on further revitalizing the agricultural uses of the reference parcel in the town of Warwick in conjunction with an affiliated new family farm distillery, bar, and kitchen under construction in the village of Florida at the corner of Main and Jane Streets. Under the farm distillery laws, we will be sourcing local agriculture for our distilled spirits, as well as other cocktail mixers, beverages, and foods. The affiliated family farm distillery will be known as Jane Street Distillery, is being developed with several members of my family, and will be operated by my son, who is a Culinary Institute of America graduate, chef, and distiller, as well as a licensed sommelier. We are very interested in expanding local agriculture in creative ways that bring locally sourced foods and beverages, especially from the Wheeler Farm, but also in collaboration with other farms in the county. We also strongly believe in agritourism and believe that ours is the very type of business that agricultural and tourism laws and policies were intended to protect and help promote. So the suggested removal of our farm from the agricultural district is very disturbing. We are also very troubled by the removal of other farms that would like to contribute to our growing agricultural and agritourism industries that want to grow local jobs and the local economy, but did not know or understand the impact of the removal of their farms from the district. Thank you for your time and attention, and thank you for your anticipated cooperation in allowing us to remain in the agricultural district. I also want to confirm one of the other speakers who was an attorney who said, as an attorney, I did find the letter very confusing, and it really would be very helpful if you can go and explain to the same people who are on this call or who may not be on this call the ways to go and remove their parcels from it, from the agricultural district. And I do appreciate the opening remarks and indicate that anyone who wants to remain can do so, but I really need to know and would like to know how it's done. Again, thank you for your time, and appreciate the opportunity to provide public comments.
Okay, thank you. Kelly, I believe that was the last speaker.
That was the last one, but I do have Ms. Sochi that's on the phone in the main office. I think she had dropped off earlier.
Okay.
She was requesting to speak again.
Oh, she was on earlier?
She was. I think she was one of the ones that may have dropped off.
All right, okay. She's on now?
She's coming back into the meeting in just one moment.
Oh.
Chairman?
Yes?
Is your last speaker on yet?
I don't know, Kelly, do we have her back on yet?
Not just yet. This would be a Donato Sachi.
All right. Well,
Sochi from Chester.
Chairman, I'd just like to reiterate that this letter will be going out forthwith with a little more clarity, because there was confusion, as the lady attorney said, and a few other speakers. We'll be going out forthwith, and it will also be posted on our Facebook page.
Yep.
So we'll try to get as much clarity while we did what we did out there. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay. I would also please note comments and requests to delete parcels from the agricultural list for removal. Addition will be accepted until close of business on November 4th, 2020. If you did not get the opportunity to speak today, please contact the planning department at 845-615-3840, and they will address any of your concerns. And again, as previously stated, if you want your land to remain in district, call the planning department, and they will certainly accommodate that. So.
Okay, I believe is it Mr. Sochi? Is it Donato Sochi?
Yes, it's Donato Sochi. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Sir, you have 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay. It's our God-given right to have clean water and air. It's your God-given right. And we all know what's going on in this county, especially in the southeast corner of this county right now. Okay. And I live across the street from the old Cold Spring Horse Farm, which we've been fighting on Black Meadow Road in Chester to preserve that to a minimum of 5 acres per home, which is what every home in that Black Meadow subdivision is on. I own 7 acres of land. It's black dirt. It is also in the DEC wetlands, which wetlands filter out pollutants from your water. Last year, we were in court, the Black Meadow Association, against the developer that went in there, and he was proposing to put homes on 3/4 of an acre with no domestic city water, all on wells and septic systems. I didn't buy my piece of property 34 years ago for the place to turn into a concrete jungle. Okay, I work in a concrete jungle, which is Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, that whole area. Okay, and to me, I want to remain in the ag district, and they are growing vegetables on rooftops in Manhattan. So to me, it really doesn't matter how many acres you have. But if I have 7 acres, and in 7 acres, I can grow enough vegetables in greenhouses or not to provide for me and my family and my friends and my neighbors. And I think that there's something underlying here that is not being divulged to the public. I thank my neighbors for all taking time out of their day to get their head out of the sand, which some people have. And the letters, I mean, this is a COVID pandemic. I lost my father a few months ago, okay? And, you know, this is ridiculous to have this type of hearing at this time. I wish to remain in the ag district, and like I said, it's your God-given right, you know, for clean air and clean water. The first thing everybody should remember is they should thank God when they wake up and their feet hit the floor in the morning and they stand up on their own. And then the second thing they should thank is a farmer for providing us with local food that is grown in our country on our ground. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, sir. If there are no more speakers, I now declare the public hearing closed. Thank you, everyone.